Welcome to the first video brought to you by the local history and genealogy department of the Jefferson County Public Library. In Madison, the name George Middleton might remind you of the Civil War monument on the grounds of the Jefferson County Courthouse. His name may also recall a stained-glass window in the Christ Episcopal Church on Mulberry, purchased in 1888 after his mother died. But few may know about his success in show business and bringing entertainment to the masses. George Middleton was born 2 days after Christmas in 1845 to James Haslam and Jane Johnson Middleton in Boston, Massachusetts. At age 10, his family left Boston, traveling in a flatboat on the Ohio River to reach Madison. George states in his 1913 circus memoirs that he disliked school, instead preferring to be outside in the attractive hills and nature, eating wild fruits and hunting. He worked in his father's butcher shop in the Walnut Street Market until the Civil War broke out. George, eager to join the Union Army, tried enlisting many times, but he was too young. In March of 1862, he successfully enlisted at Budd's Ferry, Maryland, with his father's permission. For 3 weeks in August of 1863, he was a prisoner at Virginia's Confederate Liberty Prison. From there, he was sent to another Confederate prison, Belle Isle, and was held for 8 months. He passed the time as a cook. After returning to Madison to a home his parents furnished with fine housewares and furniture, he married Catherine Rhea. They had 5 children, with only 2, George Jr. and Kate, surviving into adulthood. George and Catherine were married for 18 years, at which time they, quote, agreed to disagree. While still in Madison, George had a cigar shop, sold sewing machines, and managed a hotel. In April 1870, he borrowed money and bought into his first entertainment venture, the Hemmings, Cooper, and Whitby Circus and Menagerie. From here, he made his first fortune in managing sideshows and concessions. After 10 years in the circus, he opened a dime museum in 1880 in the Bowery, New York City, hosting acts such as Harry Houdini and other sideshow spectacles. It was here that Middleton gave 2 newsboys a job in his museum. They would become the vaudeville comedy team Weber and Fields. He also called James A. Bailey of Barnum and Bailey a colleague. He moved to Chicago along with his business associate, Charles Cole, opening another dime museum on the West Side in 1884. This would become the first acknowledged vaudeville theater in Chicago. By the end of this venture, he had accumulated 8 total museums. From here, Middleton joined the concessions management of the Barnum Circus. After some back and forth, he would eventually graduate to more socially esteemed theaters, having interest in the Chicago Opera House, the New Olympic, the Haymarket, and the Majestic, now the CIBC. In 1886, he married his second wife, Frances. Little is known about her except an anecdote where she tries to shoot George when she catches him cheating with a chorus singer. They divorced in 1906. In 1908, George married his third and final wife in Chicago, Ruth Nuckols. It was also her third marriage. At the time of their nuptials, George was 61 and Ruth was 28. They moved to Los Angeles County, California in 1910, building a home after George's retirement from his career. On the 1920 census, he and Ruth are living at 1611 Milan Avenue in South Pasadena, California. George Middleton died at Las Encinas Hospital in Pasadena on December 27, 1926. He is buried in Delvin, Wisconsin, in a mausoleum built with his second wife, Frances. At the time of his death, his estate is valued at $2 million and estimated $31 million in 2020. 1922. Half went to Ruth, and half went to other relatives. The remainder of the second half was also in a trust for Ruth. Ruth is found still living in the house on Milan in the 1930 census, then removing to Long Beach, California, living with her sister on the 1950 census. She passes in 1952.